Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I would like to share with you guys my final thoughts on the QVIST BladeWorks variant PE3. This is, of course, as the name would suggest, the third iteration of a excellent knife. I never got to check out the PE1. I did have two PE2s, sold one, still have the other one, and now this is a PE3. The main difference between the PE2 and the PE3 is the PE3 20 CV blade material, beautiful, full hollow. It is a stupidly incredible slicer, and it's also a frame lock, milled tie matching clip, and has a little plug there for lefty, which is pretty darn sweet there. Let's get some specs. I did purchase this. This was a pre-order item directly off of Urban EDC Supply. This exact variation is not available anymore, but that's not so much of a bad thing, because currently right now there is still in stock 3 different colorways with Urban EDC Supply's Sagaya pattern. There are silver, as in, it looks exactly like this, it just has a pattern on it. It's like laser etched. I don't really believe it adds any actual traction or texture, maybe a little bit of chalkiness. That's typically what happens with laser etching. Just a little bit of chalkiness, so that might actually be a benefit. There's silver, there's all black. There's only 2 of those left. That one's actually pretty sweet. I can see why there's only 2 left. And there's a bronze that looks pretty darn cool. Also with all black hardware, black clip, black blade. Some specs on this guy. Blade length is 3 inches, overall length 7 inches, weight 2.99, and produced by QSP in China, which this is a incredible knife for being produced in China, honestly, and especially at the price point. The Sagaya one is $179, and I highly recommend it. 2.9, there you go. Let's get some size comparisons going. This is definitely going to be a medium-sized knife. We have here Benchmade bug out. It's a little bit weird because you do have that sway back handle shape there. Let's do another Urban EDC Supply knife, the f5.5. 4 more to go. Let's do some Spyderco's. It's my beautiful PM2, and equally beautiful Native 5. So yeah, this is definitely a little guy, but it is actually wonderful to use at work and super awesome to fidget with. Here we have Demco 80-20.5, and of course a behemoth of a knife in comparison, the Praxis. So that should be plenty of knives to help you guys get a good visual representation of what this guy is all about. Alrighty, so I already talked about the main differences between the PE2. This is of course the PE3. Let's do some up and closies. All T8 hardware, even the hardened steel insert screw there. It's also T8. That's quite wonderful. The fitment and finish right there for the lefty plug, that is excellent. You have 2 little standoffs. Those are titanium, including all the hardware, which is absolutely wonderful. Not the pivot, which is okay. That's fine. I understand that. Of course, you have a little hardened steel stop pin there, and there is actually some internal milling, that's some heavy milling. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely keeping the weight down versus the other one that was a whole lot heavier. You guys can go and check out my unboxing of this. I did do some light comparisons between the PE2 and the PE3. I've decided to keep both of them because they both have wonderful properties to each, and I just can't bring myself to get rid of the PE2. It was just that good, even though it was more on the budget side with its 14C 28N blade material. This thing, you could probably hear it a little bit. Just makes some beautiful sounds. There are some times where if the pivot has been loosened up just a little bit, it's really loud, and it sings. It's just a beautiful sound. I know it's not really a big deal to a lot of people, but for me, I just find that quite interesting. So you have a couple different deployment methods. The front flipper is excellent. It has very good jimping on it. I do definitely like that. It's not super sharp, but it's extremely meaningful and it functions quite well, even though I still do slip off of it a little bit. Never been a big fan of front flippers. I've only really ever experienced maybe like 3 or 4 knives that have front flippers that actually work well. And this is definitely one of them. So that's something that's, you know, worth noting right there. Reverse flick, this thing is honestly really meant for reverse flicking. It is wonderful. It is super satisfying, extremely snappy. You can front flip it. You can thumb flick it. You just have to get it a little bit lower. If you're up here, you probably still can. It's just, you can lock yourself out because this lock bar, while I have been using this knife a lot, and I would consider this to be now well broken in, it's still very sensitive and you can lock yourself out. So for me, if I want to thumb flick it, I have to be at the bottom of this pill-shaped hole there. This knife is just so well refined that there isn't a whole lot of, I guess, traction or grabbiness. Like the edge just isn't crisp enough to comfortably do it all the time, but it is definitely possible. It's just, you kind of have to hold the knife back over here and just stay off that lock bar to get it. So it's definitely possible. And of course, this might be a little bit cumbersome for people with larger hands, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I do definitely recommend this, honestly, this entire line of knives. And there's even a drop point version called the Invert. And eventually they're probably gonna make more premium versions of that, but right now it's in its 14C and, you know, G10 stage. So just keep a lookout for that. That one looks pretty darn cool. It's very similar to this. It's just upside down, literally what it sounds like. It's an invert. But this one, it's blade shaped, the way that it cuts. It's excellent. I do definitely enjoy this knife. I love having it. I'm super thankful to have it now in the collection. It's a very clean design. There's nothing gaudy about it. It's very simple, very boring, what a lot of people would consider. But with some light modifications, like if you were to send this off to somebody to do some milling or engraving work, kind of like how Urban EDC has their Sagaha pattern, this is a blank canvas for incredible customization. So that's definitely pretty sweet. Also, this being, you know, full tie, if you do anodization, you know, there's that. It's a world of customization, a world of variability with, you know, making this, you know, truly special in your own, which I'm definitely going to do that at a later date and share that with you guys. Probably, you know, mess around with the hardware, the tone of the blade, and then do some cool anodizing there. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Again, I highly recommend this knife. If it is still available by the time you guys are watching it on Urban EDC Supply, do not hesitate, get it. You will not regret it. This thing is pretty darn sweet. Just everything about it. There's no hassle really. There's no like major downfalls or downsides to it. There's nothing that I genuinely believe is wrong with it or could be improved. This is a third iteration of already an incredible design, and while it may look a little funky, honestly, I don't feel much of a difference. The way that it is in hand, it's incredible, and I love using it. It's super versatile, and yeah, I've actually been using it a lot at work, so I've had to sharpen it already. Even though it is 20 CV, I was just using this thing to just blaze through a butt ton of cardboard, and it was a wonderful experience. I felt like I was gonna cut a hole into another dimension or something. This thing is super thin behind the edge, and an incredible knife to use. If you guys are subscribed, I most definitely appreciate you guys' support and your patience, of course. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and consider subscribing, because I have plenty more content coming your guys' way. Reviews, unboxings, modification videos, comparisons, things like that, all fun stuff. And with that being said, I will link down what I can in the description. Again, if it's available, go get it. Do not hesitate. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your day.